you can take everything.
You can take.
I can take it off?
Yes, yes. Sono davvero.
I'm extremely pleased to welcome here in Italy the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, at the beginning of her important official visit to Rome, during which she will also take part representing the United Nations to the Food Systems Pre-Summit in Rome from July 26 to 28. The cooperation between Italy and the United Nations for the preparation of the Rome Pre-Summit has been excellent. And for this reason, I really thank wholeheartedly Amina Mohammed, who has played a crucial role to coordinate the entire process. The Rome Pre-Summit is a fundamental step and substantial step towards the Summit on Food Systems that has been summoned in New York by the Secretary General during the ministerial week of the 76th Assembly General next September. This process is in line with the traditional commitment that Italy has always had for food security and nutrition. For this reason, Italy will be represented during the pre-summit in Rome by the Italian Prime Minister, Mr. Draghi, during the opening session. Italy has prepared for this appointment through a national dialogue that has seen a very broad participation of players from the farming and agro-industrial sector, favoring and stimulating several independent dialogues that have involved the civil society, academics, institutions, international organizations present in Italy, and trade associations. In the pre-summit session, has the following title, From the Matera Declaration of the G20 to the Summit on Food Systems. I will talk about the fundamental contribution brought by the Matera Declaration to international action for food security. This is an important result for which we're very proud, coming from the G20 meeting, which I have chaired on June the 29th with Amina Mohammed. We have talked about the need to keep a very strong commitment on the part of the international community on these themes, solidifying the process that started in Matera and that which goes through Rome in these next few days to then reach the New York summit. In Italy, the United Nations have a reliable and determined partner. And as Italy this year, we have a special responsibility as current president of the G20 and co-president of COP26, and therefore I have confirmed to the Deputy Secretary General our commitment towards an inclusive approach aimed at involving an increasing number of partners and also to establish synergies between the action of the United Nations, G20 and COP26. To confirm the sensitivity, G20, which took place in June between Bari, Matera and Brindisi, for the very first time in the history of the G20, seen a joint ministerial session between foreign affairs and development. And the ministerial session was dedicated to food security and has given new political elan, which is needed in order to establish food systems that are resilient to face a possible new crisis and achieve the zero hunger goal by 2030. We're firmly convinced that the issues related to food safety still have to be a priority, even during the current pandemic, which once again has proven the need to find global solutions that can allow us to build together a better future that is more sustainable and resilient. And it is therefore fundamental to adopt a holistic approach that takes into account the importance of access to vaccines and finance for debt reduction, and which strives to strengthen international action to counter climate change and favor the energy transition. These are all issues that we have discussed together with the Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, and where Italy supports the important role played by the United Nations in full harmony with Italian efforts. Madam Deputy Secretary General, I would like to give you the floor.
Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure, and I want to thank the Honourable Minister here for his warm welcome and that of the colleagues of the government of Italy. It's been a real pleasure to arrive for a very important pre-summit on the food systems. But let me first begin by really commending and congratulating Italy's leadership at the G20 and for COP26, both of which are interrelated. In particular, at the G20, this has been a very difficult time for the world coming out of COVID and still not there yet. We are very happy to see that the Matera Declaration that we found in the last few days has been one that has brought more hope to the agenda for financing and resolving some of the most pressing issues that the world has to adhere to on the recovery from the crisis. We're pleased to see that there are many other issues that have been taken up during the G20, and I think this has been a G20 presidency that has been the most broad and extensive in taking more than just a finance challenge, but relating it to many of the aspects of the 2030 agenda, and we do appreciate that. The COP26 agenda is equally important, and you have paid a lot of attention to the climate finance and how we will bridge the gaps that are expected from the Paris Declaration. And so the momentum of your leadership in the G20, I believe, augurs well for the COP26 at Glasgow. The pre-summit for food, of course, food systems is integral to the success of the 2030 agenda. The Secretary General convening this meeting and having the pre-summit here in Rome is an important demonstration of Italy's commitment to multilateralism, Italy's commitment to an incredibly important aspect of human development and the health of our planet, and bringing these together in a food systems dialogue that should, and we hope, produce in the next 3 days a response that is urgent, that needs to be done at scale around the world to achieve the SDGs in the next 10 years. The summit itself is benefiting from a process that started in July 2019. So Italy has been accompanying this summit for a very long time. And we believe that the results we see in the next 3 days will come to fruition. The private sector, indigenous people, NGOs, governments around the world have led the shaping of this agenda around many tracks and many dialogues, national dialogues that have taken place in 143 countries. That will come to fruition at this meeting over the next 3 days, and we hope that we can take out of this meeting a sense of the new way that we need to transform our food systems, given we have an opportunity to recover from COVID differently. And so we look forward to that engagement with ministers, with different constituencies in addressing the food systems. Italy, of course, has been leading in those discourses around many issues, and in particular, we underscore the value of the Mediterranean diet. That has been something that has inspired many, particularly our youth. Young people for a long time, I think, have been disillusioned about the sector for food, the sector for education, but this has been something that has inspired them. And I think with the use of technology, more science and evidence base that shows you where investments need to be made, we stand a good chance here of ensuring that young people are a central part of what happens in the future in the food systems. So we look very much forward to I would say the real substance of the issues that must be agreed here to be taken to New York, where they would be endorsed by heads of state and government. And then perhaps lastly, that they come back to Rome. And when we come back with the recommendations that are endorsed, that we then begin the hard work of implementing these recommendations with the support of the agencies that you have hosted for so long here in Rome, in our countries, 193 countries, everyone's engaged, and we're very excited about it and pleased to have you host it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.